Hey guys, gonna try and get this out just prior to tip. We'll see what happens. It is the NBA Daily for Sunday, May 24th. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy your day off tomorrow if you have it. And if you can, get out there and barbecue. Get some hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill. Or some tofu and veggies, whatever your preference is. But I know there's East Coast rain expected, so we'll see what we get. I don't think we'll be barbecuing. I don't have a grill, but hopefully, wherever you are, you can get a little grill going, put something together, enjoy the day. Whatever you do, enjoy the day. Always enjoy the day. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Tonight in San Antonio, Game 4 between Oklahoma City and San Antonio, the Spurs and the Thunder tipping off at around 8:15. Fascinating one. Obviously, the series 2-1 in favor of Oklahoma City. Winning last game in San Antonio, by margin. San Antonio kind of falling apart. They've got the De'Aaron Fox injury. They've got the Dylan Harper injury, both not on the injury report today. I know there's been some speculation about the league discussing things with San Antonio because De'Aaron Fox was obviously hobbled at the end of that game with an ankle, continuing to have problems with that. But Jalen Williams, J-Dub, still game time decision, we're assuming. He hasn't been listed on, or at least he's listed as questionable right now on the injury report, so he hasn't been cleared, nor ruled out. He was on the court for warm-ups. We'll see what happens. Obviously, that'll be a huge boon to Oklahoma City if he's in. I believe A.J. Mitchell out, dealing with injury, so we'll see what they can bring. But let's focus on some of the stars in this game and some of the ancillary pieces that have stepped up big in various parts of the postseason when it's mattered. Let's start with SGA, the man in Oklahoma City. Obviously, they've got a lot of pieces, but we've talked about Chet and how he hasn't been completely effective. We've talked about the fact that the supporting cast, someone has always stepped up, and Caruso's just been on fire, which we went over. But Shea, amazing. A lot of people talk about how the Lakers held him down, scoring only 24.5 points per game in that series. He did have that one breakout game in the final game of the series, but basically held to 20 or so points in each game in that series. The crazy thing is, San Antonio is actually holding him to 8% less field goal percentage, 8% worse shooting, which you would expect. San Antonio's a better team, but I did not expect that because the numbers are actually up on the raw numbers. He's averaging more points per game. The three-point shooting also down. All these numbers are down from the regular season, which I guess you would expect. But it's just intriguing to see that San Antonio's done such a good job against them, and Oklahoma City is still really prevailed. Obviously, you've seen A.J. Mitchell. He's been okay, but you've seen Jared McCain do his thing. You've seen Alex Caruso do his thing. You've seen Jalen with an I, Jalen with a Y and an I do his thing. J. Will. So they've had a lot of pieces step up in the absence of Shea's. And his free throw shooting always good. He's averaging less, and I've talked about this, averaging less this series than in the regular season, but slightly more from the last series in terms of takes. Makes are still fantastic. He's at 96% from the line, so that is not bad. Shooting across the aisle to the other side, on San Antonio's side, Victor Wembanyama, his numbers in terms of minutes are way up in this round. He's averaging about 42 minutes per game compared to about 30 in the Minnesota series. That's expected. We've had the double overtime game, so we played a lot of minutes in that game. But I've talked to someone who said this is more, and you hear this all the time. But I was talking to someone casually about this game. They were saying, yeah, he's playing more minutes now than he's ever played before. How's he going to hold up? What's it going to look like? They're really relying on him, and they are. He's been fantastic. 54% from the field, 43% from three, which is way up from the last round, and better than his regular season numbers. But he's just been amazing. The rebounds, everything. He's averaging 15 rebounds per game in this series, which is even up from his last series. Just an amazing player. We know this. He's going to get better. As I talked to someone about this, a frequent guest on the pod, I'm not going to name names, but he did mention his defense is basically ahead of his offense. As you know, he's averaging 3 blocks a game, had 4 in that second game against the Thunder. So 3 blocks per game in this series. He had 4, almost 4.5, a little bit less in the previous series against the Timberwolves. But Wembanyama's defense, he's just fantastic. We're talking about the fact that his post moves need a little bit of precision and refinement, which is probably true. But he's got that thing. He'll just reach his hand up, grab an offensive rebound or whatever, or just grab a ball over someone's head and just put it in there without getting off the floor, off the ground. So he can do it. But, we know Shea and Victor are going to give you, Wemby are going to give you the numbers. They're going to really perform. Basically, like I said, Shea's kind of down in some numbers this series. But that's expected. Oklahoma City and San Antonio have two spectacular defenses. But let's talk about the man. He's still going to be relied upon very heavily, obviously with Dylan Harper kind of being back and doing his thing. We'll see what happens to De'Aaron Fox. Again, he's not listed on the injury report, but he is injured. He's dealing with an ankle. So we'll see how effective he is. We'll see how many minutes he plays. But Stephon Castle is still a huge piece for the San Antonio Spurs. He's averaging 7 turnovers per game in this series, which we know. We talked about this. He was averaging 10 in the first 2 games, 11 and 9 respectively, game 1, game 2. But he only had 1 turnover in the last game. Unfortunately, he only shot 12.5% from the field and 20% from 3, making 105. And that was his only make of the game, was that 1 3-pointer. He had 7 assists though, which is, he's someone's talking about Jalen Brunson, how he can make any pass. Obviously, Stephon Castle is a gifted passer, but he has those turnovers. So we'll see what we get out of Castle tonight. Spurs are home. ESPN analytics predicting a Spurs victory. Very slight margin, about a 6% difference in terms of who they expect to win. Vegas has said this number's held steady, at least the last time I checked, at 2.5 Spurs favorites. So the people who do those kind of things are saying, the people who make the lines and move the numbers are saying the Spurs have a slight edge. It's going to be a close one, as we know. If you're a Knicks fan, I guess you're hoping the Spurs take this one, because if the Thunder get this series done quickly, obviously there'll be little rest for both teams. If the Knicks can get through Cleveland quickly, we did see Cleveland lose to the Knicks last night in a bit of a laugher. Basically, obviously Cleveland held tough for a while, but just Knicks kind of down the stretch. It was they tied up in, I think, the third quarter or something like that. The Cavs did, but Knicks would always go on runs and kind of pull away anytime the Cavs would make a move, and that was the case in the end. And of course, as one of my friends said in that game, there was one play where Brunson kind of knifed across the lane in kind of a zigzag motion, and the defense just kind of stood still. It was very late in the game. That was basically emblematic of their defense. But yeah, if you're a Knicks fan, you're hoping the Spurs can win tonight. I'm kind of hoping the Spurs can win tonight, just from the fact that I would like to see this Spurs Thunder series have some oomph, get some traction, and be really good. These two teams will be competing, barring any kind of craziness, for the Western Conference for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. But I would like to see this series go a little bit longer. If the Spurs can win it over the course of this series, I would be super impressed. At this point, I think the Thunder are prohibitive favorites. I don't know the exact numbers in terms of what Vegas is saying. Just in my mind, I think the Thunder are favorites to win this series, just owing to their experience and how they played so far. But I would like to see the Spurs keep in it, build and grow, and build for the future in terms of making this a real rivalry. It is a real rivalry at this point, but really amping up the intensity of the rivalry. But we'll see. Game starting soon, or maybe just tipped. Hopefully you enjoy. Have a fun night. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you later, hopefully, or tomorrow. We'll get some word on the game, and let's hope for a good one. Again, I think the Thunder are going to take this series. I do hope it goes a little bit longer, just from the aspect of having a competitive series. Of course, if you're a Knicks fan, you are hoping that the Spurs can make this competitive, and the Thunder don't run away and hide in the next game or 2 or 3 to take a quick series, because then the Knicks won't have that rest advantage, which is always nice. We saw in game 1 against Cleveland, they fell behind 22 points, but eventually won that game, so they can do it. Thanks, guys. We'll see ya.